Sophie Cunningham and Erica Wheeler at All-Star Weekend. Sophie Cunningham out there on a damn recruiting mission. I don't know how true that is, obviously not, but
The energy in Indianapolis feels different right now. Not calm, not patient, not quiet. It feels like something is brewing, and it all started with one subtle comment, one half smile, one carefully worded response from Sophie Cunningham that sent Fever fans into a frenzy. Because when you're a franchise in transition, when expectations are rising and the spotlight is hotter than it's been in years, every word matters. And this one? It sounded a lot like a hint. A hint that Erica Wheeler might not be done in Indiana, and Fever fans are losing it. The Indiana Fever are no longer rebuilding in silence. They're under the microscope. National broadcasts, packed arenas, social media debates that never sleep. The franchise has stepped into a new era, young talent, fresh leadership, and a hunger to compete right now. But with growth comes questions. Who stays? Who fits? Who leads? And that's where this gets interesting. Sophie Cunningham, known for her edge, her fire, and her willingness to speak her mind, was asked about the team's backcourt dynamics during a recent media session.
Well, it's funny what kind of people are attracted to. I'm just trying to keep the main thing. The main thing is that's basketball, trying to win games, sticking up for my teammates.
The question wasn't even directly about Wheeler. It was about chemistry, about experience, about what the team still needs. Cunningham paused, smiled, and said something along the lines of, "Veteran voices matter more than people think, especially the ones who've been here." That was it. No names, no declarations. But fans heard it loud and clear, because there's only one veteran voice in that locker room whose future has felt uncertain. Erica Wheeler. Immediately, timelines exploded. Fever message boards lit up. Clips were replayed. Words were dissected like game film. Was this support? Was this a recruiting pitch? Or was it confirmation that something is already in motion behind the scenes? To understand why this moment hit so hard, you have to understand Wheeler's history in Indiana. She wasn't just a point guard. She was a tone setter. Before the national attention, before the sold-out crowds, before the expectations skyrocketed, Wheeler was there carrying the emotional weight of the franchise. She embraced the grind when the wins weren't coming easily. She became a locker room stabilizer during seasons that tested patience. And fans remember that. They remember the 2019 All-Star MVP moment. They remember her leadership when the roster was young and uncertain. They remember the fight. But the WNBA is a business. The WNBA moves fast. Contracts shift. Roles evolve. Young talent forces tough decisions. Indiana has been building toward a future centered around speed, spacing, and youth. And with that shift, Wheeler's role became less defined. So when Cunningham, one of the team's most competitive voices, publicly emphasized the importance of veteran presence, it felt intentional. Fans are divided. One side sees it as obvious. Of course you want Wheeler back. Experience matters in close games. Leadership matters when expectations surge. Championship cultures are built on balance, not just highlight plays. The other side is cautious. They worry about fit, about minutes, about whether revisiting the past slows down the future. But here's the truth. This isn't just about basketball rotations, it's about identity. Indiana is no longer just rebuilding, they're transitioning from hopeful to serious, and every serious team needs a backbone. Cunningham knows that. She plays with an edge that demands accountability. She competes like someone who understands that talent alone doesn't win in this league. There's a mental layer to this game, a resilience layer, and Wheeler embodies that. When Cunningham talked about voices who've been here, she wasn't speaking abstractly. She was speaking about continuity. About culture, about remembering who laid the groundwork. Fans picked up on that immediately. Some began connecting dots. Wheeler's recent social media activity, subtle interactions with current players, a like here, a comment there. It doesn't take much to spark speculation in today's digital sports world. But what makes this different is timing. Indiana is at a crossroads. They have the pieces to push for something bigger, but growth brings pressure. The kind of pressure that tests locker rooms. Veterans calm storms. They recognize when a two-game losing streak feels bigger than it is. They understand how to reset focus before narratives spiral. Cunningham hinting at that need suggests she's thinking beyond highlight reels, beyond headlines. She's thinking about sustainability. That's why fans are emotional about this. Wheeler represents more than assists per game. She represents a chapter, a bridge between eras, a reminder that this franchise's climb didn't start yesterday. And in sports, loyalty resonates. But it's not purely sentimental. There's basketball logic here. Indiana's offensive pace has increased. Their spacing has improved, but late-game execution still fluctuates. There are moments where composure becomes the missing ingredient. Wheeler has lived those moments. She's taken big shots, missed big shots, learned from both. Cunningham understands that when postseason pressure arrives, the margins shrink, possessions matter, communication sharpens, experience shows up in subtle ways. A defensive rotation called half a second earlier, a huddle that steadies nerves, a possession slowed down when the crowd gets too loud. That's what veterans provide. The reaction online shows how invested this fan base has become. This isn't passive support anymore. It's analytical, it's passionate, it's protective. Some fans argue that bringing Wheeler back could limit younger guards' development. Others counter that development thrives when guided, not isolated. And then there's the emotional factor. Indiana's locker room has visibly grown tighter this season. Chemistry feels authentic. Players celebrate each other. The bench energy is real. Cunningham praising veteran presence might signal that the team values that emotional glue more than outsiders realize. But here's the twist. Sometimes a hint is just a hint. Cunningham didn't confirm anything. She didn't announce negotiations. She didn't guarantee a reunion. She simply highlighted the importance of experience. And yet the reaction shows how much Wheeler still matters in Indiana. That says something. It says fans don't just track stats. They track stories. They remember who stayed during the hard years. They recognize who helped shape the culture before it was trendy to believe. Whether or not Wheeler returns, this moment exposed something powerful about the Fever's evolution. They're no longer invisible. Every comment creates headlines. Every smile fuels theories. That's what happens when expectations rise. And make no mistake, expectations are rising. Cunningham's competitive fire aligns with a franchise that's done waiting. She didn't come to Indiana to tread water. She came to compete. If she believes veteran leadership accelerates that path, fans are going to listen. Because competitors recognize competitors, the speculation will continue. Front office decisions are rarely public until they're finalized. Negotiations are layered. Cap space matters. Fit matters. But the emotional groundwork has already been laid. Fever fans are ready to believe in continuity. They're ready to believe in a roster that blends hunger with experience. They're ready to believe that this team's rise doesn't require erasing its past. And that's why this hint hit differently. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was subtle, which somehow made it louder. Because when a player like Cunningham chooses her words carefully, fans assume intention. And intention creates momentum. Now the question isn't just whether Wheeler returns. It's whether Indiana sees the same value in veteran presence that Cunningham clearly does. If the front office agrees, this could be more than nostalgia. It could be strategy, a calculated move to fortify a locker room before the games get heavier. If they don't, then Cunningham's comment becomes a snapshot of respect. A public acknowledgement of what Wheeler meant and still means to this franchise. Either way, the message was clear. Experience matters. Voices matter, history matters, and in a season defined by growth, that reminder landed at exactly the right time. The Fever are building something real. Fans can feel it, players can feel it. And when subtle comments spark this kind of reaction, it shows just how deeply invested everyone has become. Sophie Cunningham didn't promise anything, but she reminded Indiana of something. And sometimes, that's enough to set an entire fan base on fire.